expressions. Okay, lots of variables floating around this time, but I'm going to keep up the way that I keep doing this so that way I can practice that sub skill. But if you find some shortcuts, you can use your own shortcuts or other skills too. So here we have a 5 y cubed u to the fourth. Y cubed is y, u to the fourth is u. Then we have a 20, which breaks down into a 4 and a 5, and a 4, which breaks down into a 2 and a 2. And then we have a single y and then 4 copies of u. So if I'm going to look for some pairs here, I do have a pair of 2's and I have a pair of 5's, because don't forget there was that 5 over there also. So those 5's and those 2's match up. Then we have a couple of y's, a couple of u's, a couple of u's, a couple of u's, a couple of u's, and a couple of y's. So everything's going to escape from prison here. We're going to get rid of absolutely everything. What do we have as escapees? We have the 5's and the 2's. Then we have y and y. And then we have a u and a u and a u and a u. So your final answer is going to be 5 times 2 is 10, y squared, u to the fourth. Yay! Okay, let's try one more before we try one on, or before you try one on your own. 6 is 2 and 3, y. 3 y. So now you're starting to see why there's an advantage to getting some shortcuts. But again, it's not terrible to write them out, especially if you can do them decently here, and you're less likely to make an error. Now I've got a pair of v's and a pair of v's. And a pair of v's and a pair of v's and a pair of v's. I've got a pair of y's and a pair of y's. And a pair of 3's. So that means when my escapees are counted, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of the v, 6 copies of the v, 2 copies of the y, and then I have one number 3, and left in the prison that didn't escape, it looks like we have a 2 here and a y here and a v here that don't match up. So we have a 2vy. So the final answer to this problem would be the number 3, v to the sixth, y squared on the outside, and on the inside you have a 2vy. 2vy. And there's that answer. So why don't you try one on your own? And you don't have to use my technique, but you can at least use mine to double check at the end. So what do we have here? 2 and 5 is 10, x and y 6 times. Over here we have 5x y. So match up to find our pairs. Pair of y's, pair of y's, pair of y's, pair of y's. Here is a pair for x's, and here is a pair for the 5's. So escapees, 5's out, x is out, and 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of y. Who's left? Looks like a single y and the 2. And so our final answer here is going to be a 5x, 4 copies of y, so y to the fourth, and then a radical of 2y.